Before I start my video, I want to let you know that this is a series that I'm doing, so if traveling with kids on your Disney cruise pertains to you, you might want to consider hitting the subscribe button and then hitting the notification bell so you can see when all these videos are posted, so you can get all the tips and learn from all the mistakes that I made on my Disney cruise. So arrive at your port arrival time. That is my first tip. Disney lets you select the port arrival time when you do your online check-in. What this is the time that you arrive to the port. It doesn't necessarily mean the time that you board the ship, but it's the time where you would go and you would either arrive by some mode of transportation or your car, you'd park, you'd go through security, you walk in, you go up to the desk, they check you in, and then they give you a boarding number, just like if you were to get on a plane. Well, your boarding number goes in order of your port arrival time. So if your port arrival time is 11 o'clock, you're gonna be one of the first, maybe like 10 numbers or something called. And then if your port arrival time is 2 o'clock, you're gonna be like in boarding group 30 something. So it does go in order. So I see a lot of people who arrive to the port obviously way before their port arrival time. There should be really no reason why you need to sit and wait 2 hours to get on the ship from your port arrival time. Every time we've been there, we've gotten there at our port arrival time and we're on the ship within 15 to 20 minutes because it goes in order. So all those people sitting around most likely got there way before their port arrival time. If you are coming and traveling with kids, I highly recommend just get there at your port arrival time, because if you don't, I mean, it's just a big open room with terminal, like there's a place where you can meet, like Minnie will come out and Mickey will come out sometimes, and you can look at a model of a ship, or some ports, that's just at Port Canaveral. Some don't even have that there. So it's not even as entertaining, but it's basically just chairs. You can check them in for the kids club, but most people probably already do that online. So you're just sitting around and it's just a loud room. So if you're traveling with kids, just get there at the time you're supposed to, and then you can get on the ship and you can avoid all that sitting around and waiting, and it gets crowded because lots of people get there too early. So arrive at your port arrival time. That is my first tip. When you first get on the ship, there are many things you can do. You could go do anything basically except to go to your room if you're on the ship before 1:30. First thing that you need to go do, in my opinion, is to go get lunch. You've already paid for it. It's included in your cruise. Go eat. In fact, I would even, like the morning of, just eat breakfast. Don't eat food like an hour before you're supposed to get to the port, because you can go eat lunch when you're there. So they have a lot of options. The two main options are to go to Cabanas, which is the buffet, and then there's another option of a main dining room that's open that has a sit-down service. I highly recommend with your children to go to the sit-down service. Unless your children are older and they can reserve a table for you at Cabanas, it's very crowded. There's lots of lines. You have to hold your tray. You have to hold your kids' tray. It's a buffet. You have to select their food. You have to get it for them. Then you have to go back up to get drinks, all while carrying your carry-on luggage. And lots of people go to Cabanas, so it's very crowded. I recommend going to the main dining room that's having the Embarkation lunch. Not only can you be seated at an actual table and have a server that brings you your drinks, but you can also keep your luggage parked outside of the restaurant in a little lobby area. So you don't have to be taking your luggage everywhere with you while you're getting your food or eating your lunch. When you enter the restaurant for lunch, there'll be servers there to guide you to a certain table. You sit down, they take your drink order, and you can get a menu, and then they bring you your food. You don't have to do anything. You can just sit there. They'll even cut up your kids' food if you want, but it's a lot more relaxing and much more enjoyable, and it's quieter, and not many people do it, so it's less busy. So go to the main dining room that's open for lunch on that first day. This third tip kind of ties into that second one. Also, eat the sit-down main dining rooms as much as possible. Try not to go to Cabanas or the outside decks if you want convenience. The main dining rooms are open. There's always one open for breakfast and for lunch, and then obviously dinner is your assigned seating. But you can go to these, and it's also kind of fun because you get to sit at different places in the restaurant, not your assigned table. So for breakfast or lunch, they might sit you next to a window seat, which is fun if your main table for dinner is not anywhere near a window or it's too dark. And you also get different servers, ones that are not part of your dining rotation at dinner, so you get to meet more people. And lunch and breakfast are the same way. You can order off the menu. You can order as much as you want. They bring you your drinks. It's wonderful. For breakfast, there's a person who carries around pastries on a tray, and you just They come over to your table and you can select them, or you can wave them down and they'll come over and give you whatever pastries that you want. It's just a lot more relaxing and quiet and cool, and like a change of atmosphere from the rest of the ship. So sit down meals as much as possible if you're wanting convenience, especially with super young children. That's my thought. Okay, so I know this next tip because I was a bad parent and I messed up. Okay, so most of the time we travel in the off season because it's cheaper, so it's, you know, not as hot in the Caribbean. And we decided this last year to take a cruise in May. Well, it was really hot and I didn't realize how hot the decks would get around the pool, but we like to sit one level above the actual pool deck, and it's not as busy, and you can access the slides and you can see funnel vision. It's not as loud, but the deck gets really, really hot, and I didn't realize, and so I went up there, and my kids went up there. We went up there earlier in the morning and then stayed till it started to get hot. Well, by that time, we didn't have flip-flops on, and the deck was really hot, and we were basically running from like shaded spot on the deck to shaded spot on the deck, and it burned our feet. I mean, like, that was the most my feet have ever hurt, ever. So bring flip-flops when you go to the pool or any deck that you're gonna be like out in the sun around. Make sure all your kids have flip-flops. Like, sometimes it's easy to forget if you're carrying one child there, or you have them like in a stroller or on on your back, and it's really easy to make them not have shoes on during that, and then you just forget and they don't have shoes and then they burn their feet. But it was so bad. So bring flip-flops when you are on the sun decks. It's so hot. So hot. I can't even describe to you how hot it was. Like searing pain in my foot. It was awful. Awful. The big thing to do after the muster drill is to go to the sail away party up on the pool deck. We like to pick the deck one above the actual party so we can look down. You can get really close to the stage and you can watch the show from up there. The music's loud, you can hear it from all around, and this also gives you a chance, if you want, you can kind of turn around and check out as you're sailing away, pulling out of port. You can see more things. If the kids want to watch the show, they can be watching that, and you can turn around and watch as you leave the port and sail away. So go up to one deck higher than where the stage is on your ship. And if you want an easy way to get there with the elevators, then check out my elevator video and it'll get you there lickety split. Make sure you watch to the end, because the end is where the good tip is, and that's the one you need for this one. We were told on our very first cruise when we were on the Dream, and our lovely waitress told us that we could see the best firework view if we went up to the Mickey hand slide, like up top on deck 12, right next to the Mickey hand slide. That's right where they shoot the fireworks off on Pirate Night. So yes, they were great for firework viewing, not so great if you wanted to see the pirate show first and the Buccaneer Blast show. But if you're just caring about fireworks, or you want to go up and down real quick, because it's very late. I mean, it is really hard for the kids to stay awake until the fireworks. I think the fireworks didn't start until like 10 or after 10. Like, it's really late. So if you want to go up there just with the fireworks, stand by the Mickey hand slide entrance on deck 12. And that's, of course, on the ships that have the Mickey hand, which are the Dream and the Fantasy. The next thing that I highly recommend is to book your excursions in the morning if you are going with your children. This way they aren't cranky during the excursions, but then also you don't have to rush to get back to get to dinner on time if you have first seating, and then they can also take a nap. Speaking of naps, we like to eat second seating for dinner because we really enjoy when our kids take naps around 4 or 5 o'clock, which they can't do if they have first dining seating. So we have second seating so they can take a nap around 4 or 5 and then stay up later to enjoy all the festivities and the entertainment and the shows and dinner, because dinner is something that I think it's good for kids not to be cranky at, as well as the shows. So also, that's a good thing to do. Naps. It's okay that your kids can nap on the cruise. It'll help tremendously, I promise. Something we did not know about on our very first cruise, because our waitress did not inform us of it, was that you can get specialty drink cups at dinner. If they have them at Disney World, you might be familiar with them, but we were sitting at Animator's Palette and we kept seeing these kids get these really cool Crush sippy cups. Like, they're huge. It's like an entire turtle, like this big, seriously. And I was like, I didn't even know that those existed. Like, why didn't we know this? And we just weren't informed of it. So I want to let you know that you can get specialty cups at dinner. You do have to pay for them, but they're really cool. They're really neat. Most of the time when you arrive to the main dining room for dinner, your wait staff will have your kids' drinks already on the table with lids and their names on them. I mean, feel free to move them around. They can sit wherever they want, but I'm pretty sure that they try and have your kids facing the screen animators and the stage at Tiana's, but if not, make sure your kids can see the stage if you're eating at Tiana's place, and make sure they can see a screen if you are eating at Animator's Palette so they can enjoy the entertainment that is during dinner. Disney Cruisers, thanks for sticking to the end of the video. Maybe I'll see you on your next cruise, and as Mickey always says, see you real soon. Bye!